very much. I must say that at the very outset, that listening to all the very distinguished speakers, the saints, the seers, and everyone, I was wondering if I was going to stick out like a sore thumb. And then I realized, no, that's more because of the fact that social work is a terminology that is used so, specific to a profession and also to social service as we understand it, or a whole lot of concepts. So there is this disclaimers that we need to make at the beginning, and then that's more to explain the perspective from which I'm talking. And the reason for that is that you have, and thanks to Dr. Shukla, I think you said, while Nishkam Seva is more a way of life, social work as we understand it in the extension that he said, has to do more with an academic discipline. I'll only qualify it further and say that the history that you outlined, sir, has both the academic discipline as well as the profession. And how do you compare 5,000 history of ideas with a profession that might be just 87 years old, or so they cannot compare it basically. Now, having said that, where is the fact that the way in which we practice social work as a profession and as an academic discipline in India has been informed largely by Western thought, as has already been informed. And so this is the right and opportune movement, and I must say that the thinking of this has already begun, that had we probably been informed by Indic thought in the curricula, in the way in which we transact the course, we would be probably contributing much more richly in a seminar like this than being here more in the perspective of a learner. On a lighter note, I must say every time somebody asks, would any of the speakers like to ask questions, I looked at myself as a listener and not as a speaker, and therefore I listened. But the point is that there is so much for us in the social work profession as we practice it to get informed better in terms of the Indic thought. But for all the concepts that have been outlined, right from compassion, interconnectedness with the environment, the ability to relate to others, the ability to strengthen your own relationship, I would like to just add that, and since you asked me for the journey, a large part of my life now has been in the northeast of India. First at Mizoram and then at Guwahati, and I say it with a very conscious aspect to say that very often the way in which traditions in the northeast are very often not brought into mainstream discourse. And one of the things I would like to add to all these concepts is that of unlearn. Because we have not really been informed by Indic thought from the beginning, if we need to move to a more concretized way, I would say that a lot of unlearning has to occur as well, and that's where I would say with all humility that we need to begin. If I may just share a very quick anecdote as a teacher, and this is a very interesting anecdote where the very first time I go from the University of Delhi to Mizoram, and we have classes being conducted the very first year of the establishment of the Department of Social Work, and some of the teachers come to me one day and say, while the exams are going on, ma'am, you have to come soon, the students are copying. So I went in to see what the problem was, and I asked the students, because they were not hiding anything. They were showing the paper, somebody is writing it down and then giving the paper back. So I said, what is happening over here? And the unlearning that happened for me is, the students said, ma'am, we are sharing. In 1 minute, my entire construct of what we thought was an exam sacred point got demolished. And then she looked at me and she said, ma'am, will you read the paper and tell me, is there something wrong? Should I not be sharing? So, the way in which we construct knowledge, and if we do not use the voices from where we need to communicate with, I think we lose out a lot, and that's where I would say